Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P. Entertainment and K.L.P. Studios. Go! It's K.L.P. Aftermath. Morning with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yeah, boy, howdy. Boy, howdy. Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. This is, of course, let me adjust as I'm adjusting my mic, Hope. This is, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the K.L.P. Aftermath podcast. I'm your gracious and highly favored podcast host, struggling to get his mic right, but it's okay because it's a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, January 21st. Oh, boy, howdy. Let me tell you, January's moving like it got somewhere to be. So we hope that everyone is having a fantastic, fantastic month. This is the first month of the year, and, it's January 21st. Wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. I hope that everyone is prepared because here in Atlanta, we are preparing for snow. I got to say it, ladies and gentlemen. I kind of hope we don't get snow. Let me tell you why. Simply because I do a lot of things, right? I'm not just in the studio. I go through a lot of things in Atlanta. I go to a lot of locations, whether it's the gym, to my house, to the studio. So that's why I am praying that we don't have snow. I'm praying it's just cold. And with my new vehicle, if you guys know that I have a 2025 Mazda Miata. Love the car. I really wish I could do it because it's a hard top. The top does come down. It's just been too cold. But being that is a sports car, it's not an all-wheel drive. So when you don't have an all-wheel drive vehicle, it is very difficult to drive in snow. So that's why I am praying that we don't have snow this coming season. Now, if we have snow, it is what it is. It's Mother Nature. You can't fight Mother Nature. But I truly, truly hope that we don't have it. But I do say to a lot of people, please be prepared just in case we get snowed in. Be prepared maybe to be off on Friday. I don't know, right? It just depends on what it's going to do. A lot of people want it to snow Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I don't want that because Saturday is my big gym session day. And then Sunday is my big church day. And then Monday, it starts a new week. So that's something I just don't want. Maybe I'm just being a grump and I just don't really want all of those things happening, but if it does happen, it does happen. But like I say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to K.L.P. Aftermath Podcast. By the way, if you guys seen the content this week, we've had 2 podcasts, by the way. And I got to give them a shout out. On MLK Day on Monday, we did What Had Happened Was podcast with me and my girl, Evelyn Letitia. Shout out to her. And on yesterday, Tuesday, we did Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. That show is amazing. Guys, go check that show out. I don't want to say it's not a new show. I won't say it's a new show, but it's a newer show to us. Of course, Simone Teagues is back along with Hope with a brand spanking new show that Spotify is helping producing and powerhousing for us. Coffee Talk. It is a very fantastic new show. Audio only. We only have an audio-only version of that podcast, but we hope that everyone enjoys it. A lot of people did ask me, why did we go for a audio-only show when it comes down to that? The reason for that being is because that show is about 10 to 20 minutes, that time span, ladies and gentlemen. It won't be a show where it's 30 minutes. It won't be a show where it's 40 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour. That's not what Coffee Talk was designed for that show. Coffee Talk is designed for a first 15 to 20 minute show where when folks get up in the morning and they want more K.L.P. Entertainment Filmworks content, that's what that show is there for. We talk about news, we talk about current events, we talk about reviews and stuff, but we do it in the time span of 15 to 20 minutes. that's just kind of how we do the show. That's just kind of how we're gonna program that specific show. So we felt the need that since it's a short show, there's no need to come in the studio, boot the light kits up, boot the cameras up, and do a whole video version of it. We're just gonna keep it an audio version since that show is that short. Now, what happened was podcasts, and then KLP Aftermath podcast. You're looking at 30 to an hour, right? That's those shows are gonna be videoed because that is worth our while if you guys know. So we hope that everyone enjoys that one as much as I am, being on that show and producing it. It feels good to be back. It feels really good to be back into the podcast space. I think now I'm in the right mind space. If you guys know, a couple of months ago, I wasn't in the right mind space to be podcasting almost every day. And I just gave you guys one podcast a week and then call it quits for the week. I am proud to say that I'm in the right mind space, that I can give you guys a podcast almost every day. Now, I can't give you a podcast every day, right? I wish I could. We just don't have that much time in our schedule for the week. But, I mean, you get what had happened was on Monday, you get Coffee Talk on Tuesday, you get this show today on Wednesday, and then you get another Coffee Talk on Thursday, and then we kind of roll the dice on Friday, and then we don't work weekends. So I'm glad that I'm in the right mind space up to to give you guys that great of a show, and I'm really excited for what's to come in 2026. I'm just in that perfect mind space, and I think it's because I did receive the email today from my church. Again, I always shout out to Change Church. Change Church had announced a couple of Sundays ago the program of Made Men. I love the air horn because Made Men, if you guys know, I've been talking about it in this show for a lot. Made Men is a new ministry for us men to go out there, and it's a 12-week boot camp. And what it is, it's just going to be a 12-week boot camp for me to, they're starting the first few sessions on Zoom, but then there's going to be some sessions in person, and it's going to expand my mind as a man. It's going to teach me how to work the ways of me being more of a man, be more of a man in this space, in my mind space, and in my health and in my spirit and in my spiritual journey as I reconnect myself with God, right? So I'm really excited for this boot camp. Hopefully it allows me to teach me, to be the very best self. And that's probably why I've been so excited within the last 24 hours. Yesterday I went to the gym. Shout out to Crunch. I had a great session as always because, I'm just in that right mind space. And I love it. I'm here for it. So I hope that everyone is ready for it. My newly changed faith and my faith in myself. Hence why it allows me to be better at podcasting and giving you guys almost a show each and every day. Before we get to the topics of conversation, I do want to say to everybody that's watching the show on Instagram podcast, or Spotify, iHeart, or if you're watching this on my LinkedIn, I thank y'all so very much because you guys, our fan base, our followers, our impressions, you guys are what make me go, right? You guys are what makes me keep going, right? And I keep going, right? I keep going, uploading it and doing constant uploads on every social media outlet as well. So I keep going in this thing, and I'm really excited for it. Okay, so let's talk about it. All right, so I'm going to talk about with the latest series. Season 3 is available right now on Hulu with this show called Tell Me Lies. And I'm going to be honest. When season 3 announced and premiered, first of all, Hulu, thank y'all so very much for giving us not one episode when the season 3 started. Tell Me Lies and Hulu, they gave us the first 3 episodes. And I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to say the least that we get the first 3 episodes of Tell Me Lies. And I was excited, right? Because if you guys know, I did a review on season 1 and season 2 in previous episodes. And season 3 is now out. And I'm kind of fanboying over this show because I think this show is really good. I think all the actors and actresses play that part really well. But let me tell you, I was really skeptical, Hope and audience, for season 3. Let me tell you why I was skeptical for season 3. Simply because I I was just the first 3 episodes, I'm like, okay, the first episode is not expected to be the greatest episode of the series because it is the first episode of that new season. So it has to get kickstart. It has to get going, right? So I know episode 1 was a little bit slow for me because I know that it takes time to build up the expense and build up what happens at Bree and Evan's wedding. What happens to Lucy and Steven, right? What happens to Pippa and Wrigley, right? That's what season 3 is about. So a slow start, right? I mean, they got the band back together. The everybody's starting a new semester in college. Like, it's going to build up really slow. I anticipated that thing, but as I'm watching these episodes, I don't want to say I was turned off, but I was just like, this was different than season 1, season 2, right? Because in season 1 and season 2, and I'm not, because I just talked about faith and whatnot, and we're not going to talk so much about lust on this show, but what made the show great was all the sex that was happening. And again, I'm not trying to get gross, but I'm an adult, I like to watch not adult content, but I like to watch shows that they are doing more risque type things in the show, because honestly, that's what makes this show interesting. This is a show, when I watched first season 1, season 2, this wasn't a show I couldn't watch out loud. This is a show I watched in my house. I couldn't watch this in the office, right? Because there was a lot of sex going on, but that's normal. College kids going to college, and they're trying to experience themselves as people, and naturally in college people have sex in college. That's just natural, right? And that's what made the show so great, because it was gritty that way. It was a lot of drama in first season 1 and season 2. But when season 3 happened, I was like, I don't know about this one, right? I think it's really slow. But then it kicked up. Because when episode 3 to 4 aired, it kicked up. And here's the title of this podcast. I am on the oppression, not Grace Van Patten. She's not crazy. She's a wonderful actress. Her character, Lucy is freaking crazy. Lucy is going through it, of course. So this is season 3 where secrets are out. Steven, let me tell you something about Steven. Not Spencer House, the character, but I'm sorry, Jackson White's character. But Steven is very manipulative in this season, right? Steven knows all the secrets. I do not trust Steven as far as I can throw the character. I think Steven's going to be the one that messes up everything as season 3 goes on, because he knows too much, right? We all know in season 1 he was in the car with Macy and they hit a tree and Macy died, right? We know that. Steven has that secret. Steven knows Lucy's secret, that she had sex with almost every guy. Not every guy, I'm over exaggerating, but she had sex with a lot of guys in the first couple of seasons, right? And now Steven knows that Lucy had sex with Evan, right? And Evan tries to keep that a secret. Steven tries to expose that to Bree, because in this season, Bree and Evan gets married. Bree receives a voicemail from Steven about Evan announcing or confessing that he cheated on Bree with Lucy. Because Lucy and Steven was broken off at that time. So Steven knows a lot of secrets, right? Steven's going to be the one. He's going to be the one that messes up everything. He blows everything. But I say Lucy is crazy, the character, because, and I really like this approach that they're doing with Lucy, because this does happen in real life when it comes down to Lucy yearning for sex. Lucy is yearning for it, right? Lucy, the character, again, you had Steven, you had Max, you had Liam or Leo, one of those two names. You had Evan, and now you have this new character that you are having sex with. He is the drug dealer of this season, where he dealt drugs to them, and now him and Lucy has a connection. And Lucy she takes pleasure when she's having sex. She takes pleasure for guys that are sexing her up to call her pathetic, to call her a loser, to call her just this slut. And she gets off on that. And I know it's lustful, I get it, But I understand Lucy's character because that does not. I've read about this kind of sexual pleasure from women that loves just gets a hard on, get your rocks off when you get called pathetic. I seen that. Okay, I've seen it in my college days. Yes. Have I seen it now as an adult? No. I've read about this in books. I read about it and heard about it in podcast episodes that women get off on that. Dudes also get off on that too, where if a woman is getting down and dirty on that man, and the man says, well, the woman says, "Hey, you're so pathetic. Oh, you're worthless," and then he's like, "Oh, really? That's all I am." But we folks, human beings get off on that. I don't know what it is, but I kind of get it. Psychology of it all. I kind of get it. I understand it. Do I get off on that? No, not necessarily. Don't call me pathetic. And not trying to get gross, but I get off on it if a girl's going down and down on me and she's calling me daddy. I do get off. My rocks go off on that, right? And it's also women moaning. Again, I'm very transparent on the podcast, not trying to get gross. Of course, I have sex. It's normal, right? I'm learning to kind of, well, I've had close to that back then. Now I'm on this faithful journey. Now I haven't had it in a minute because I'm on a spiritual journey with God, and I'm waiting for when I give it up to my woman of God. I'm working on that. But Lucy, I understand why she gets the rocks off on that. So it kicked up with that because obviously Lucy, it seems like she's the only one that's having sex, right? And she's having the dude that's sexing her up, call her pathetic, call her a slut, and she likes it. There's this episode where she meets up with the boyfriend or new boyfriend, the drug dealer. She had a full nice outfit on. She sees Max, and Max is her ex, and Max is on a date with another girl. She had the heart to go up to Max and say, "Hey, I treated you like shit. I'm so sorry." Apology was accepted from Max. But then drug dealer walks out. She walks out. Now and then she hit his hip, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She's like, "Yeah, keep saying that." And she kept saying, "I'm sorry." And that's how they got their rocks off. Look, Lucy is crazy. She's crazy. I'm fiending for Diana and Pippa. Now, in this season, Diana and Pippa, their thing. Now, they're two female characters, and Pippa is dating Wrigley, but in the show, they're going back and forth, ladies and gentlemen. They're going back and forth because when they're going forward into the future, Evan and Bree's getting married, and Pippa and Wrigley are no longer together. And Pippa brings Diana as her date to the wedding. Fast forward back in the past, in college days, Pippa and Diana's having this thing. Diana's pregnant in this season. Spoiler alert to a lot of people. Diana is pregnant in this season, and it's a very sensitive topic because she is looking to get an abortion. I think she does get an abortion. That's just my prediction by the end of this season. Now, season 3 is an ongoing season, so we don't have the newest episode. Well, you do if you're watching it now, but we don't have more episodes quite just yet because each week they upload a new episode. But I'm very hopeful for Diana when it comes down to her finding love in Pippa. I really never saw it coming until Pippa and Diana had a thing. I'm like, okay, they're going to be a love interest. They're going to be a couple, right? And I think it's because Diana gets hurt by Steven so much. And then Pippa is not really feeling Wrigley. If you guys remember back in previous seasons when, I hate to talk about sex a lot, but it's a lot of sex that happened in this show, where Pippa and Wrigley, they're getting down and dirty, and Pippa's not really getting her rocks off. Wrigley's not doing it for her. She's faking the orgasm. She's like, this ain't really going for me. But then when you have it where Pippa and Diana's having sex, Pippa's giving it up, orgasm and all. So it is just very interesting when it comes down to it. I think Pippa and Diana, they're going to be an item. They're going to be a couple. I'm really rooting for them. They're getting down and dirty, and I think it's just very, very interesting. And then like the first, I think it was episode 1 or 2, where they're all coming back from Christmas break, and then Pippa and Diana get into a fight. And Pippa says, "I can't stand it that you're on my mind all the time. It drives me crazy." And my mom was like, Pippa loves Diana, right? I like it when I've seen that happen where girls say, I'm thinking about you all the damn time, and it just drives me nuts. I can't stand it. I'm like, you love me? I can't stand it because I love you, Kennedy. You love me? Right? That's what Pippa, that was her confession to Diana. Like, I can't stand it because you're on my mind all the time. All I can think about on Christmas break was you. Well, that means you love her then, right? If you think about somebody all the time and you can't get them out of your mind, no matter what you do, you in love with that person. So like I say, I Tell Me Lies has begun to pick up now. I was skeptical the first couple of episodes. I was a little bit nervous, but I am glad that it is picking up when it comes down to it. I look forward to it. I look forward to a lot of things to happen when it comes down to Pippa and Diana, Lucy. I hope Lucy finds her way. Of course, Steven also made she was going to expose Lucy's secret if she didn't go on camera and confess her secrets to everyone, that she had lied about being sexually assaulted by another character named Chris. Another character by the name of Chris, that character, he assaulted Pippa in season 2, but Lucy took the rap for it because she was trying to cover up. So now it's beginning to become a developing story because another student by the name of Kate, she was sexually assaulted by Chris, and now she wants to come out and come forth with her story. So I do hope Lucy finds her way. I do think Lucy is Lucy Goosey. I really think she's crazy. I wouldn't mess with a girl like Lucy because that would drive me nuts. But it is a good one. It is a good show. Guys, like I say, please go check it out right now. It's available on Hulu. You don't want to miss out on that as well. Now, coming up next, we got Hope with our latest in hip hop news for our front page for the podcast. Take it away, Hope.
Good morning, my loves. We hope everyone has started their morning off right. Here's the front page news. Pharrell recently impressed with the Louis Vuitton men's Fall-Winter 2026 runway show and some upcoming collabs. It's been nearly 3 years since Pharrell was appointed as the men's creative director of Louis Vuitton, and he continues to impress. Yesterday was the men's Fall-Winter 2026 runway show, one of the most anticipated events of Men's Paris Fashion Week. Fashion isn't the only reason it's making headlines, however. The show also featured some unreleased music, including collabs between Pharrell and Quavo, and Pharrell and $AP Rocky, as seen in videos shared by Kirko on Twitter/X. So far, the feedback has been mostly positive, and fans can't wait for an official release. Very cool move on Quavo's part. He seems to be gearing up for a promising comeback, one social media user writes. Need it now. Rocky and Pharrell created heat. Wish it was on DVD, another says. So we getting a new Pharrell album? Someone else wonders. Back in October, Quavo announced that he was in the process of readying a new album with Pharrell, which they recorded at the Louis Vuitton headquarters. It's on the way, he confirmed at the time. We dropping it. Me and Pharrell. We recorded the whole album in Paris. We recorded at the Louis V headquarters. For now, details like a title and release date have yet to be announced. The former Migos member did recently provide his fans with a massive update on the project, however. According to an Instagram story post shared earlier this week, the LP is finally done, and there are more announcements coming soon. As for Rocky, he just unleashed his 4th studio album, Don't Be Dumb. It boasts features from the likes of Doechii, Brent Faiyaz, Sauce Walka, and more. He also just announced his world tour in support of the album, which will include performances in North America, Europe, and the United Kingdom. The tour is set to begin on May 27th at the United Center in Chicago, and the final show will be in Paris at Accor Arena on September 30th.
All right, Hope, thank you so very much. Shout out to Hope. Hope is available for this K.L.P. Aftermath podcast, and also you can check her out on Coffee Talk presented by Spotify with me and Simone Teagues. All right, so I wanted to talk about a little bit with sports real quick. I do want to give a shout out to Indiana. Of course, they are now SEC champions. Shout out to them. I personally was rooting for Miami because I'm a big Miami fan. I drove by Indiana, right, when I was in Chicago. But it is just one of those things that I get really, really excited for football season. Football, college football is pretty huge, right, in America. So I have to send my congratulations to the University of Indiana. It was a good rivalry between the two. I personally was rooting for Miami. I've never been to University of Miami. I like their school colors, and they played at the Hard Rock Stadium where the Miami Dolphins play. So that's pretty big when you get to play at a big stadium like that. It's just really, really amazing. I can't wait to see what the next football season, professionally NFL, happens with next year. It seems like there are a lot of coaches getting fired left and right. Sean McDermott was fired from the Bills. Very, very sad. I hate that coaches, you have to perform really well, and if you lose one big game, that could be your career. And that's kind of why I don't think I would ever want to be I'm never going to be, but a football coach for professional. And I kind of get the firing because these coaches are getting paid millions upon millions of dollars. I get it. Now, when Raheem Morris was fired from Falcons, that was an understandable fire. He just sucked, right? But it seems like there's just a lot of coaches getting fired from their teams because they didn't make the playoffs. And shout out to the coaches that if you got to keep your job, congratulations. And I think the coaches that are getting fired from these professional teams, I think they're going to land their feet somewhere else. Maybe another team. If not another professional team, they have the opportunity to go to university or college level. I think, it's not really a step down, really. If you coached professionally and you now want to take time where you want to take the step back and coach universally, I think that's a good way to do it. It just sucks. It just really sucks. There are a lot of coaches getting fired left and right simply because they didn't make the playoffs. Like it really doesn't make that much sense to me, but it does happen. So I do hope that everyone, all the coaches, I ride for the coaches. I'm praying for the coaches simply because it's just one of those things that it does happen when it comes down to it. Yeah, so it's just one of those things when it comes down to it. Now, coming up next, before I do my reading here tonight, I wanted to talk about something that kind of so my friends that have been asking, do I think that this video game is going to get delayed again? And if you guys know, GTA 6 is a highly anticipated video game that is getting ready to commence out. And so I'm here to answer those looming questions when it comes down to it. Do I think GTA 6 will be delayed again? I honestly do think that it might. I know that's a hot take. It's a very, very hot take to take. I honestly do think that GTA will be delayed one more time simply because this game has to be highly anticipated, right? There's billions upon billions of dollars that are going into this. So when you are dabbling a lot into this game, when it comes down to it, it gets dicey, right? And it has to be particular. It has to be straight. And Rockstar and Take-Two says that they are confident that, we're sticking to November of this year. It was originally 2025, and then it got pushed to May of 2025, and then it got pushed back again for early this year, and then it got pushed back to November of 2026. People are saying, okay, we might get it in 2027, right? And I think that might be the final time when it comes down to the delays, because this game, let me tell you, video games nowadays can make or break a studio, right? There's been times where studios develop a video game and if it's not up to par, then it gets canceled. right? Or it didn't make that much copies and much money. And then that studio has to declare bankruptcy, right? And when that studio declares bankruptcy, they shut down. And it's a niche market, right? We saw it where the James Bond video game that I was really looking forward to has been delayed because again they know that games can make or break a studio, right? If you make a bad game, you're not making that much money, you could get canceled. That studio can be deleted. That studio can be closed down, right? So I understand the allotment when it comes down to these video game delays. We still don't know about the Marvel's Rise of Hydra 1943 game from Sundance. I honestly I think that game is not going to happen to open audience. I honestly don't because we haven't heard anything. It's been delayed and then it's been delayed indefinitely. I don't think we're going to see it. I think it's going to be a canceled game, and I think the studio. I don't think necessarily Skydance Media will be canceled because it's a big media company, but they're going to just go back to the drawing board and do something else, right? But GTA 6, do I think it's going to be delayed? Most likely. I really do think it's going to be super delayed when it comes down to it, pushing it back for 2027. So we'll wait and see. Wait and see what happens. All right, so this next part before we wrap up the podcast here today, K.L.P. Aftermath Podcast, you guys know what I do. I do my daily readings, God's daily wisdom for men. Again, to a lot of people, if this part is not really your thing, you are free to click off this episode. But if this is your thing, and I hope it is, then you guys can you guys can get into it. Now, I'm skipping through because I don't do dates anymore. I don't. I do on this show. I do topics that are very very interesting when it comes down to it because I'm so behind on this. I am, but I'm reading God's Daily Wisdom for Men. This is 366 devotions from Boyd Bailey, and here we go. Y'all ready for it? I'm ready for it. Hate evil. Ooh. To fear the Lord is to hate evil. I hate pride and arrogance, evil behavior, and preserved speech. The word hate makes us uncomfortable. It has a harsh and uncaring ring and reputation. However, there is a holy hatred of evil that is allowed and even expected by Almighty God. Authentic Christianity is not easy on evil because it breaks the heart of God and destroys the soul of man. Evil is an encroachment by the enemy on internal agenda. It takes down leaders who let pride and arrogance seep into their thick skulls and stay there. Indeed, it rules. If the rules applied to everyone but the leader, then it's just a matter of time before the fear of the Lord becomes a foreign concept. Sin is out of bounds for any child of God who abounds in his love and grace. It is the wisdom of Christ that warms the heart, instructs the mind, and leads the way into behavior defined by truth. The Bible says God's mystery, that is, Christ himself, in whom are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. That was Colossians chapter 2, verse 2 through 3. Gossip, greed, jealousy, and lies are all evil intentions that corrupt the culture of transparency, generosity, contentment, and honesty. Stress can bring out the best and worst in others. To make sure, by the grace of God, you rise above the petty policy of blame. Wisdom and maturity takes responsibility and seek to lead the team in excellent execution of a proven strategy. If you do nothing, the naysayers will negotiate in fear and division. Furthermore, fight evil without fanfare. But by faith and wise work, deliver constant and credible results. And your antagonist will grow quietly. It is the humility and wisdom of Christ that define evil intentions. Therefore, give him the glory. Get the job done and trust God with results. Hard times can produce hard hearts unless you overcome evil with a humble heart and of prayer and bold faith. Evil is extinguished through intense intercessions of prayer from pure people. The Bible says, make this your common practice, confess your sins to each other, and pray for each other so that you can live together whole and healed. The prayer of a person living right with God is something powerful to be reckoned with. And the question is, what does a holy hatred of evil look like in my life? That was the chapter for Hate Evil. And again, that's God's Daily Wisdom for Men. You guys can pick this up. I got this from Walmart. You guys can pick it up. I'm sure they have it on Amazon as well. And I don't use the word hate anymore. Back then, before I renewed my faith with God, ladies and gentlemen, I used to say I hate this, I hate that, I hate this, I hate this person, I hate him. I stopped saying that because that is a very harsh word. This season, I'm in the season where I am apologizing for all the dumb stuff that I've done. Just a couple of days ago, I was at the gym and there was a trainer that was doing her class. And I remember a couple of days before that day, I treated her like crap. I was in my head. I was having a rough day, a rough, hard, long day. And I brought it out on her, right? And I went up to her, and this was January, brand spanking new year. I said, "Hey, the last few days I was very ugly to you. I treated you with disrespect, and for that I apologize." Right? I felt so good doing that simply because I treated her like crap. I had hatred towards her in my heart, and I know that was the very wrong thing to do. I think as we get more into this year, you learn to forgive those and not have hatred towards those that have poured hatred onto you. I know it sucks that if people poured that hatred onto you and you give them grace, you give them smiles, and you forgive them for what they've said, I know it sucks from that person receiving that hate, but sometimes it's good to go out there and apologize and to smile and to rise above the hate. To quote the great wrestler John Cena, rise above that hate. I think it's very, very important to not have hatred to those who have done harm to you, right? This year alone, I've forgiven everybody from 2025, 2024, 2023, 2022, all those people that portrayed hatred towards me. I have now forgiven them and pray that they live better lives. I have no hatred towards those people. I have no animosity towards those people. And as I'm going through 2026, I am learning now to not take things so personal, right? Whether it's people not liking the podcast, people in the offices that may not like my line of work. They might clown me for my line of work. They might make jokes with my line of work. I don't take things personally because I know that is a form of hate that I won't tolerate because my discernment is too high, right? I have no hate bone in my body no more. You guys seen it. Whether it's, again, if I'm in the office, I'm smiling because I just had a nice chai latte and I'm going to get some things accomplished and done today. Versus me going to the gym just the other day. What was it? Saturday? No, Monday, because we were off. Martin Luther King Day. I'm dancing my little ass off. And I've seen a lot of the gentlemen. I've seen it mostly in my ladies. Ladies, I got to pick on you. There's this one girl. You guys know who she is. She looks so mean. She looks so angry. She looks so pissed off. So hatred. And it's like, you have hatred in your heart because of your face. It says it all. I don't know who pissed you off, but I'm glad it's not me. But I'm over there jamming, lifting weights, doing my thing. And you could tell people have hatred in their heart. And then when they meet, because I look, some girls that's at the gym, they mean mug the hell out of me. It's because I don't have a hatred bone in my body. I don't. Right? Do I get frustrated? Yes. Do I get pissed off? Yes. But I'm learning to not, going to this year as I reconnect myself to God, to not have a hatred bone in my body. To take everything A, with a grain of salt. B, don't take it personal. And 3, pray. Pray to God. Because that's what excludes the hatred out of my soul. And each and every day I wake up glorious and I wake up thankful each and every day because I'm up, I'm alive, I have fresh air in my lungs, I'm healthy, I have a job, couple of jobs, honestly. I have a nice warm bed that I sleep in at night. The only thing that's missing is my woman of God, but hey, my discernment, I'm going to wait for it. I'm patient. I'm living my best life being single right now. It's my discernment to wait because God is God's time. It's not my time, it's God's timing, right? That's the type I'm on. That's the time I'm on, Hope and Audience. And that's why I say that we have to rise above the hate. If you have a hatred bone in your body, fix it. Ladies in the gym, I'm picking on y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies in the gym, when you look pissed off and bitch face, fix that. Fix your face, honey. Gentlemen, if you got rest and bitch face in the gym or at work, fix it. Fix it. Fix your face. Because each and every day we wake up grateful that we're not homeless, we're not hungry, we're not dead. Fix it. That's my PSA to a lot of people. That's going to wrap it up here on the K.L.P. Aftermath Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Guys, please follow us on all social medias. Our K.L.P. Entertainment Filmworks Instagram followers have been growing, as well as Swinky Radio 1 and The Heat. Down to LinkedIn and Facebook as well. So guys, if you guys want to know, you want to get content from us, you got to follow. You got to follow us on social media. You got to keep up with us because we upload almost every day with any type of content. So we appreciate it in advance. Follow us on social media. Share this episode with your friends, letting you guys know that we went live tonight, or well, today rather. And you guys got another new episode. Again, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to bring another episode of Coffee Talk with me, Simone, and Hope. We can't wait for that episode tomorrow. Until then, guys, stay safe, stay warm. Hopefully, we don't get snowed in here in Atlanta. And we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Until then, stay swanky. Peace. Okay, hit the button, Hope.